Daisy Abercorn, how are you doing?
I would say that the last 2 months of my life have been, a real crazy time period, but I think it's also just been kinda needed in a way, I guess, like, strangely enough, like, not that I want the world to be going through a shit show, but, like, for me personally, like, having some time to, like, reflect and reevaluate has been good.
Absolutely. I've been hearing that across the board. A lot of people are feeling it like maybe we were all just running so ragged that we weren't having time to take care of ourselves.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
that's awesome. So I've been noticing you've got like these awesome yoga videos. You've been doing it now for like all since the beginning of basically the pandemic, right? Like the great as that began. I've been watching your progress. It's so awesome. It's
Thank you. I've been doing yoga off and on for like 5, 6 years now, but I've been doing it like the last year I've been doing it more consistently, and then the pandemic happened and I was like, man, I want to help, but I don't know what to do, so I'm just going to like do this little like vlog or this like video journey of me. And I actually am taking a yoga instructor course right now just to deepen my own understanding and own learning, and it's made my progress, 10 times as far. So
so so you plan on teaching yoga? Is that like something that you're going to is that something we get to expect in the future or
I thought that that's what I was gonna do. I really did. I think it was kind of one of those things where it was like, I need something like, so when all this happened, like my band was in a, I wouldn't say we were in a bad spot. We were in a great spot. Like we just released our EP, we just had our party, we were gearing up for our next big show, and we were kicking ass, taking names, like working our asses off. Like we were really working hard. And this happened, and I kind of knew a couple weeks before the lockdowns that it was coming,
yeah.
and I was just kind of in this place of like, I was in my own head about things, and I was doubting myself and doubting decisions I was making with the band and doubting just a lot in general. And so like, and I was trying to get anyone else to like make decisions for me instead of making my own decisions.
Yeah.
And the day that we decided to stop practicing, like I cried, like, because I just felt like that's literally been I quit my job 18 months ago to pursue this full time. I've literally had to learn everything as I've done it. I'm literally like, I'm still a baby in this. I haven't even had a real shot. Like I'm still trying to make it work. And now, and like everything that I've worked on for the last 18 months, everything that I gave up my previous life for the last 18 months just got ripped away from me through no fault of my own. And it like, I cried. I mourned that. Like we had shows canceling, we had big shows canceling. We had like all of the things that I'd been working on kind of came to a stop because like you can't book when you don't know when the venues are going to open back up or what it's going to look like, or.
If people are even going to feel comfortable coming.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I saw this huge shift to like online, and I am great on stage, but I struggle with the camera for some reason.
I it's like talking on the phone. It's like you can't quite feel the people even though you can see them. You can't quite feel it, you
Right.
know.
I need that. I want that energy. And so like all these musicians started doing online stuff, and I kind of froze. Like I knew that I really didn't want to do what everyone else was doing. One, because I was going through my feed and getting lost, right? Like everyone I knew and everyone that I have on my Facebook page is a musician. So all I see is live video after live video after live video of people doing, their music. And it was just kind of like, it made me realize how small I am. And I normally feel so bigger than life. And it was just like, man, I see everyone else doing this. I don't even know how to do that or feel comfortable doing that. And on top of that, like I feel like I'm already lost inside everybody else. What's going to keep my band from getting lost in all of this? So I just kind of was like, okay, we're going on hiatus. And so that was the second phase of like, oh my God, what's my purpose? What do I do? Who am I? Like, this crisis of like, what do I do now? And I was kind of looking for anything to kind of give me purpose at that point. So I picked up this yoga instructor course. It was really, for a yoga instructor course online, was pretty cheap. And I was like, I'll do this. That'll give me an income. It'll give me something to focus on. And since I made that decision, I've been making more decisions about my life and the direction I want to go. And I've kind of realized like, oh, that was definitely not what I want to do. But it was like I needed to make that decision to learn that that's not what I wanted to do. So I'm still finishing up the course and I'm still learning a lot about it. And I still might do some sort of like live stream or help people, or, I still might do something with it. But I think my original idea was like, I'm going to teach lessons for money and that's what I'm going to do. And now I'm like, no, my band is still my thing. Like my band is still my life. I don't want to get distracted, but I needed something to kind of motivate me every day.
Yeah. And I mean, honestly, like, I think that's a super healthy thing to happen, to be forced to try to think outside the box and like, what am I going to do? But in reality, for me, watching the progress was so inspiring. I mean, I don't know if you know that, but I also felt like very overwhelmed by everybody, and be like watching you pivot the moment was so freeing. It really felt like everything's going to be all right.
God.
I think I really it was really inspiring to watch. I also I watched the new song that you put up the other day, the acoustic of Society. I thought that was fantastic. I'm assuming you worked on this recently. I'm assuming, yes.
Yeah. So something I think, kind of like in all these decisions that I've been making and all the like, I've been through a transformation, I would say, in the last couple of weeks. And I think that like, it's kind of shown in the yoga, but for me, it's been like much more of like a mental transformation. And uh, I'm really remembering who I am and what I want out of life, because I'm isolated, right? Like I have no one else to look at besides myself right now. And so um, you spend enough time with yourself, you kind of have to learn to accept who you are. And I have some really, the last 6 months, I've made some poor decisions and I've done some things that I'm not necessarily proud of, or like I've just not been true to myself, you know? And I had to come to terms with a lot of that too. And so like I had this time of reflection of like, okay, one, I'm not perfect, and I try so very hard to be perfect or to come off as perfect, and I'm not perfect. And I don't want people to think that I'm perfect, because I want anyone to know that they can do whatever they set their minds to, no matter where they've been in their lives. Like you can literally start whenever, wherever. And I think that was kind of like the thing with the yoga, was like, I can be this now. I can be a musician today, and tomorrow I can be a yogi, and tomorrow I can be like a fucking, author. Tomorrow, like I can decide every day who I am and try again and be new and put that effort in. And with where I put the consistency, that's what's gonna, come out in the long term. But I can choose to change, right? I can make that change. And so I think that was like, outwardly I was doing it, but like the inner work of like inside, I'm doing a lot of change right now, and I'm changing my mindset. I'm changing the way that my brain thinks. I'm changing the way that I'm looking at my band, my business, my life, myself, so that I can continue on this path of being true to myself and following my dreams.
It's beautiful. Good for you. It's so exciting. Do you feel that is the plan for Abercorn? Do you guys have what's next? Do we have a plan yet, or is
We have a very tentative plan. Kind of, it's still very tentative for sure.
understood?
Um, it obviously, whatever is going on in the world kind of makes shows uh, up in the air. You just don't know. And so I've had people reaching out to me about doing shows, and I am nervous about it because my thing is, I don't want to put on a show and somebody come and then 25 people get sick. You know what I'm saying? Like that is, I couldn't live with that responsibility, or that action. So I've been really careful to not say yes or no to any show that has come my direction in the last couple of weeks, because I'm just trying to have a more informed decision. However, behind the scenes, I have been restructuring and redoing. And the video that you saw, something I have wanted to do for years and years and years and years is get demos of all my songs, because I have a shitload of original songs. Like we do about, Abercorn as a band has done about 3 hours of my originals, but I probably have anywhere from 5 to 6 hours of original songs.
Oh my
And
goodness.
they're not all Abercorn though. Like they're not all for Abercorn. Some of them are just for me. So what I've been working on with Josh is we're recording demos for the band so that way they can have them to listen to. And at the same time, I'm recording these videos, and I'm actually going to put them up on a YouTube channel, my own YouTube channel, so that everyone can have access to all my songs and hear all of them, not just the ones that Abercorn does on stage. So like, and hear them in my, how I wrote them, in my true form. Because the way that I write them isn't always the way that Abercorn expresses them, like we change them. So
To fit the genre, kind of. Well, not maybe
right.
genre, but yeah, I totally, absolutely. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm
So
really
that's
excited to see that.
that's one thing that I've been doing, is trying to get those demos done, and it's slow going, but it's going.
Yeah.
So um the other thing is we actually lost a member because of this pandemic. I'm not the only person that has been going through, who am I? What am I doing with my life? Da 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 da. And one of our members, he's an artist, and I've known for probably 6 months now that he needed to quit so that he could follow his own dreams.
Oh.
But I wasn't in a place where I was ready to let him go. So when he did try to leave, I didn't let him. And finally, when all this happened and I went through my own transformation and my own kind of mindset changes, I was like, you know what? If anyone's going to be in this band, it has to be because that they want this band. And we had a practice last week, and he came to me and he's like, I think I need to quit. And I was like, you're right. You do. You need to go pursue your own dream. And he's, going through his own transformation. And we have another member who's dealing with I think we're all dealing with some of that shit right now. And he wasn't able to make it to practice. So we haven't even had a full practice, but we're more concise. We're more about the people that want this band to be a reality.
Right.
And we're getting, people are still kind of like coming out of this time of change, which I really think that this is what this is a time of growth, really. But I have faith that the last 4 members are going to come together and create something beautiful. And we're trying to tentatively plan for a practice this Sunday to start recording our next album, full-length album.
Oh,
So,
wonderful. That is so awesome to hear. And it really is beautiful that you were able to, I don't know, I've been in places like that too, where it's hard to let go of people, even though you care about them and you want the best for them, but sometimes it's hard to see them go. But I bet that if this person is a fantastic artist, which I'm assuming that's what you've alluded to, that maybe you could even incorporate some of their work in, with things to come later in the future. You never know
right,
what paths, why they crossed, for what reasons. So that's
right.
that's
And
great.
he's still like, he's the one that does all of our posters and stuff. And he's like,
Yeah.
it's actually, I think it's been because of doing the graphics for the band that he realized, I need to quit my job. I need to quit this band. I need to go do these things. So it was a stepping stone for him. It wasn't a waste of time. It was part of his own journey. So I think that that's really cool, because he's like, I still want to do this stuff. This stuff is fun. Like, all
Yeah.
right, I'm on board with that.
And the posters are fantastic. I've
Yeah.
always your guys' ads are beautiful. But all right. So another question, super, super serious question. Okay. What headphones do you use? and
Uh, are you talking about the blue ones?
yes, yes. Oh my goodness, those are beautiful. Those are awesome.
My husband got them for me for my birthday. My birthday was a month ago. I
How
turned
related.
7. and they are Cohen, Cowin. And he got me these bright blue ones because he's just thought I would love them, and I do. I asked for Bluetooth headphones, and that was my birthday gift. So
That's awesome.
yeah,
Right? Tip top stuff. I had to ask. It was super important. But
I love them. I run every day, and I do yoga every day, and they're nice. So
nice. Have you felt that that the way that you interact with people? I mean, I think you kind of mentioned this earlier that during this time you've kind of spent more time in self-reflection mode and whatnot. But do you feel that that all of this will change the way that you interact with people in the long run?
wow, that's an intense question.
I mean, we don't have to cover it. It's not a big deal.
Ah, no, I think it's a great question. Yeah, I absolutely think that this is going to change a lot about how I interact with the world and how the world might perceive me even. And I think a lot of it comes down to the fact that I have had time to reflect. And I was speaking to a friend the other day that when you sit alone with yourself for long enough, you kind of have to get okay with yourself, right? Like you kind of have to be okay with yourself because I mean, you can hate yourself, but I've been there, done that, and I don't want to go back. And loving yourself can be really hard. So you kind of have to get to the place that you're okay with yourself, get neutral with yourself so you don't go too far down the rabbit hole. But so you can see yourself clearly. And when you get okay with yourself and you understand yourself, you start to find compassion for yourself. And when you find understanding and compassion for yourself, you can find understanding and compassion for other people, right? And when you find love for yourself, you can find more love for other people. And when you find respect for yourself, you have respect for other people, but ultimately that respect for yourself, that love for yourself, it kind of comes first. Like, and you see that it has to come first. You fulfill yourself. And I've been working on a lot of that. I don't want what I decide. I've always my entire life felt like I go against the grain. Like I'm not normal. I don't fit in. I don't like to do it the way that everyone else does it. And being a girl leading a band in a town full of people that are mostly male led bands or males in general, I get a lot of flack for decisions that I make, or I get a lot of here's how you should do it, from people. And while I appreciate advice, I also recognize that, like, maybe you're not doing what I want to do, or maybe that's just not who I am. And I lost sight of that, I think, in the last 6 months, where I just stopped doing it the way I wanted to do it and started doing it the way everyone was telling me I had to do it. And I got really miserable. I'm not going to lie. Like, I just wasn't enjoying what I was doing. And I felt like I got lost and I didn't see me anymore. I didn't see what made myself special, what made my band special, what made my message special. And I believe in that so hardcore. And I had to find compassion and understanding for myself and get okay with myself so I could love myself, so I could respect myself, to say, oh, yeah, this is the way that I want to do it. And I am looking at my future and going, like, nah, I'm making changes, man. I'm not going to be a part of the rut. I'm not going to be in the cycle. I'm breaking free. I'm going to do it the way that I want to do it. And respect to anybody else, right? Like, that does it their way. But I got to respect me enough to say, no, this is how I want to do things. So, like, I think in a way it's more how I want to present myself to people now. I don't want to be seen as somebody who just goes along with the crowd. I want to stand out. I want to do it differently. I want to make changes. I want to lead in that growth, in that let's go against the grain. Let's try something different. Like, let's be a little crazy.
Yeah.
Let's be a little crazy. We're musicians. We're not supposed to do it the right way. Like,
Right.
thank
Great
you.
flow, good content was really nice.
Thank you. I think I've had to learn a little bit. I think this forced me to learn a little bit, which again, it's a new experience. I might not be good at it at first, but I can learn.
Right. And very adaptable, which is super cool to see with you that you're just capable of making these things happen. So I'm so excited. I'm excited for the solo work on YouTube. Can't wait for that. And I can't wait for the next album from Abercorn. I think it's going to be great. I'm really excited for it. Anything that you want to just say to anybody who's watching, um, that might be a positive. Is anything positive that you just want to let people know, or did you already get it pretty much covered? Because I feel like you did, but
The only other thing that I can say is like, everything's gonna be okay. It's scary and it's different, and there's gonna be adjustments, but it's gonna be okay. It's not the end. It's not, life isn't over. It's just changed a bit.
right,
And that's okay. That's okay. You just have to you have to look at yourself and say, how can I react to this? What is my response, and take responsibility there, and just know that, like, it's gonna be okay.
awesome, it's beautiful. All right. Well, listen, Daisy, it has been an absolute pleasure to talk to you today and kind of get to hear about what you've been going through and all these positive changes. And like I said, I'm just really excited to see what you pull together in the coming months and years. It's going to
Ah,
be
thank
fantastic.
you. Yeah.
Absolutely. And hopefully, when things start opening back up, we can start traveling again and we can come see you guys again. So that's
Yes, yes. Getting my band on the road is like top priority for me right now.
right.
Like, other than recording and getting another album out, it's like that's the next thing I want to do is like, let's go. Let's go show the world what we've got. So
Sounds awesome. All right. Well, I will see you on the flip side, and I hope you have a wonderful day. And I'll write you an email in a little bit, just kind of with
okay.
some extra things. But I'll be seeing you. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. We'll see you later. Okay.
Bye bye.
Bye.